Hello Pisces, how is everybody doing? Welcome to your monthly reading. So great to see you. Some kisses from Apollo. And we're going to get started here and talk about all of the energy that's available to you for the month ahead. Apollo's checking things out here as well, approving of the setup. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. As I said, we're going to take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, showing you all of the possibilities. One of the things that I'm sure many of you know from being a part of this is that it's all about empowerment. It's all about finding out where we can be. I'm going to put down my co-host here so we can chat. So let me just kind of break down what this content is going to look like today, and we'll move from there. So I always like to begin with channeled messages at the beginning. This comes from primarily with me. I do a lot of dream interpretation and then meditation and research at the beginning. So the first portion is just my guides and me and you. And then after that, we will go through the Celtic Cross to get a little bit more information and detail on what's available to you. I always like to let that take whatever shape it needs to, and then we expand it afterwards. After that, I'll do a big idea, something to really focus on to be successful, some blessings and blocks, and then we get interactive. I'll let you choose something. In fact, today you're going to choose the deck. I've already selected 4 or 5 to choose from, so I'll let you select that. That's one of the fun things if you show up to the live. So we'll do a reader's and a viewer's choice near the end, and then at the very end, it's a 3-part thing. We'll meditate, there'll be a sound bath, and at the end, I will answer a silent question that you have. I talked to Aquarius yesterday about maybe doing something else in the future for members. So I'll probably launch this with the next round of videos, either on the weekend or maybe also throughout the month. I'll do a beginning post where I ask you to ask me questions, like general intuitive development things, and I might also pick one per video to answer. And that'll be a nice way to give back to anyone that's a Patreon supporter or a member. Anyway, that's our overall format for today. A couple of quick notes before we get started. First of all, to ensure that this channel continues to grow and thrive, please hit the subscribe and the like button. If you've already subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, it would be so helpful. It really does show YouTube that this is a place to come to for information. And again, it lets me do more of what I'm doing. So if you want me to keep coming back, hit that subscribe button and like. Also, engagement's important. So if you could just comment when this is on replay, it really does help. All of these things are free. It's the same of saying, kind of like applauding if you're in an audience and someone's performing. So consider doing any of those and it will help me out. If you'd like to get reminders on social media, particularly on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, I will gladly welcome you into those sort of social media platforms. You can see all of my handles right here. It's pretty much just my name except on Twitter. And I also post snippets of like a highlight from each video. I'm also starting to consistently do that on TikTok, so feel free to follow me there as well. And also, if you want to give back or join and become a channel member, you can do that by clicking on this icon right here. It's basically a little $sign, and from there you can either send a sticker or become a member. Membership allows you to vote twice for weekly topics that I do on Sundays, and it also just allows you to support upgrades in gear and more deck purchases. So I'll be polling everybody on the community tab and asking for some new deck suggestions as well. I always put the all the sort of funds back here. I already put a link to this in the pinned comment, but if you want to see future videos, you can click there and see what's up. All right. I know that you want me to get straight into the information, so let me set up the slideshow for today and we'll take a look at all of your channeled messages. Again, as I'm setting up for the channeled messages, a reminder that this comes through dream interpretation, through spirit, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, let me just get to the first slide and we're going to get started here. All right. So hopefully you can see that. I'm kind of combining it. Sometimes I have totems, and today I do. It's sort of like ice and rain put together. And a lot of times I just have messages. So I'm putting these two together because it's not always just a totem. A lot of times I'm getting direct messages coming through spirit. So one thing that I'm picking up on, and no doubt it's because a lot of you are going through inclement weather right now, but I was driving on a highway and it was slushy. It was somewhere between the snow and the rain. And for me, it felt like I was in a hurry, but I had to slow down. So timing is going to be one of the sort of secondary, but also most important continuing threads here through this reading. So it's not just about the speed, it's about timing. Sometimes we're slowed down for a purpose that maybe only spirit knows for us. So trying not to be frustrated as all of this is going on is going to be really important. So let's talk about moving forward and speed. I've covered glaciers before in the totem, and I'm not going to geek out on all the different facts about them. The one thing that's most important for us to focus on is that glaciers don't stand still. They are massive sort of collections of ice crystals that form over sometimes millions of years, and eventually the gravity of that cumulative weight and all of that structure starts to disform and transform the energy beneath it. All those little crystals start to move, and they move past each other and they warp. And then sometimes there's even water at the base. So what happens is slowly that glacier moves along rock and other structures and starts to carve things into it. So even though we don't see the movement, there's movement. I've also geeked out before and kind of talked about how it feels like we're sitting still, but the planet's moving, the solar system's moving, the galaxy's moving, the whole universe may be moving in a multiverse. So there's always multiple levels of movement, but there's the perception of stagnation. So how can you move through things? Well, first of all, if you feel stuck, you're not. And believing that you're not stuck is the first step. So believe that you can shift and you can change the velocity and the sort of speed with which you're moving. If you really want to unstick yourself here, you want to possibly bring more energy to the whatever it is you're working on, whatever is kind of making you feel stuck, because there is power in numbers. So the gravity of other people's combined energy, expertise, insights, etc., are going to allow you to feel that forward momentum, that you're able to finally move and see things happening. And you've earned this moment in time. I mean, sometimes we feel like, it's some sort of punishment or something, like, why, have I done something wrong? Why can't I move? Why am I not moving? So this is ultimately saying you can and you will, but you have to believe it. It's sort of like a trick of the head sometimes, right? So the next thing that I would say here is that patience is going to be one of the most important elements of this. And sometimes when we're feeling that energy of being stuck, you sort of think to yourself, that's all I can focus on, right? That it's, for some reason, sorry, there we go. I just went between these things. I'll go back to the whole screen. Sorry. Imperfections on that one. There we go. What I was saying with this is that sometimes you focus on just what's in front of you rather than what you're capable of doing. So definitely believe in yourself, believe that you can push forward past that. And again, that sort of opening up is going to be the most important thing. So as I was going down the hill, as I was watching whoever was traveling, there were signs along the way. There were warning signs, there were exit signs, and one of the things that I observed was missing one of those exit signs. Sometimes we're so focused on the person that's talking to us, the task at hand, the feeling of being stuck, that then we miss the big opening, right? So if you're missing that opening or that exit or that portal, first of all, you can always open up a second one, but it may not be exactly the same. So take advantage of what's in front of you. Patience, care, and attention to detail can help avoid any sort of a detour in your plans. I think even if you reach a detour, we're going to really look at the positive elements here. Even if you reach a detour, it can still be something that you learn from, right? So I believe strongly that when we're looking at stuff, if time is given to you, let's say a detour is, now I have to go back and spend 15, 20 minutes on this, or an extra day or an extra week on this. That still is a sort of weird blessing, because in that time, you're going to be able to perfect something. You get a second chance to learn something. You're going to maybe be able to just put out whatever you really had always hoped and dreamed it to be. So it's a chance to do it better. It's still a gift of time. And the timing of everything is in flux. So whenever you're manifesting or scrying into the future, realize that timelines are the slipperiest sort of things to kind of try to pin down. And that can be actually advantageous for you. Sometimes tower energy will speed it up because you're taking too long. Sometimes you're just not prepared, so it's sort of like the universe is waiting on you. It's temperance, it's being patient, it's wanting you to take that first step. So see yourself as a co-creator with time. And once you start to work with it, you're going to have a lot more fun with the time that you're given, and you're going to be able to do a lot more with all of the energy in front of you as well. Remember, most importantly, you are the source. If I were to pick a common card throughout this month that seems to keep popping up in different readings in different ways, it is the Magician. And basically the Magician card is a reminder to all of us that we have all the elements that we need for success, for growth, etc. All you have to do is to kind of tap into that. The graduated version of that would be the High Priestess, but the Magician seems to want to be front and center. So focusing, believing, and practicing. The Magician needs to practice in order to be able to produce the magic. All of that is part of this, and I believe that's the end of this, yeah. So I like the messages here, a lot of them around inner self-confidence and belief and focusing on what's important, right? So kind of beautiful. The glacier and the snow and the ice piece also coming through to show you that, you know, it's just one element that's been changed a little bit. Water just shifted to a different state. So you can always bring it back into water again. So it's never really stuck. It's just changed a little bit, okay? So this month I want to focus a lot, actually, as I'm looking at all of your cards, on how to create momentum and movement, and if there is any sort of stagnation, how to bring you out of that stagnation, all right? So today, to be a little bit more organized, not that I'm not, but I wanted to be even more organized, I kind of pre-selected some decks for us to vote on. So let me show you some of the ones that I have in mind here. I'll pull them out, put them on the table. I have one too many, so I'll just make an executive decision as I look at them here. Actually, I have a few, yeah, one too many. All right, so let me just turn the camera down for a second. You can look at what's in front of me here. So these are some that I like, but I don't use a lot. Some that I haven't used in a very long time. I kind of took this one out of rotation. This is the Wild Unknown, and I like this quite a bit. There's just one card, a couple of cards. I don't love the swords on these because they look too much like wands, and it's this one in particular that made me take it out of rotation. I feel like the artist made it difficult for readers to tell the difference between the swords and the wands. They're like really close, and I have to look for branches. But I do love the animal portion of it. So anyway, this is one, and I think I'll put it in there. It's up to you if you want me to kind of struggle a little bit. This is a really cool one. I believe it's called Anna K. Really bright colors. I haven't used it that much. And so then there's these that I think Raven's Prophecy has been up a bunch, but it doesn't get voted in very often. And then I have The Spirit Within, and then I also have The Little Prince. So I'm going to have to make an executive decision on this. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one card at the top of each, and we're going to see the lowest one gets pulled out. Watch them all be amazing. They're all pretty darn good. Six of Pentacles is going to be the one that gets pulled out here. All right, so that was easy. Spirit decided, and I'm fine with that because the ones here are infrequently chosen. All right, so what I'm going to do here is set up a poll for you, and we'll go from there. I like it to be a little interactive and a little leave some things up to the collective and to spirit, which we just did a combination of the two here. So let me just pull up the polling mechanism, and then I'll get a drink of water while you're voting on it. All right, so let's take a look here. So we'll do viewer's choice, and a reminder for this, as you're voting on something, you basically can only do it if you're on the desktop or on a mobile device. Okay, so which deck would you like? All right, right here we have the Wild Unknown. Again, I'll just show a sample of each. And then this second deck is, I believe it's called Anna K, a weird name, but that's what it is. And this one is Spirit Within. And this is The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. All right. All right. Take a moment, vote on this, and as you vote, I'm going to grab some water, and then we'll go into the reading. So I hope everybody's doing well. A reminder, if you just joined, we're right at the portion where we're going to look at the Celtic Cross. And I'll throw up the format really quickly again here. We're going to go into the Celtic Cross and then do an expanded forecast after that. Right now, it's a pretty close vote, but it looks like Spirit Within is winning. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and I'll give it a second to make sure, because sometimes at the final moment, it changes, but it looks like we're pretty much decided on this. So just let that finish up and then we'll get started. And indeed, it's Spirit Within with 48%. So thanks. I haven't had a chance to use this one in a while. It has some really cool silhouette images. I kind of like it because with the silhouettes, we are forced to kind of look beyond the obvious. It really does kind of require a little bit more intuition. So I think you made an excellent choice. All right, give me a second here to get everything set up and we'll see what's coming through. As I said earlier, you can use this for the Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus in your chart, really any aspect if you happen to know it. So you can also watch on behalf of other people. And the reading is good for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Interesting. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're enjoying the week, getting ready for the weekend and the month ahead. I can't believe we're kind of speeding through January, so this is perfect timing for you. You'll be set up for next week. By the way, you should join me on the weekend if you're watching this live so that you can get your 7-day forecast as well. So this will give you like 6 to 8 weeks. The other one will give you 7 days, plus a topic of everyone's choice, of your choice. Also, just an unannounced piece, which I will put up on probably later today so everyone knows, but I'm likely going to do an impromptu reading on Monday, since it's kind of like an in-between day. I usually don't read the next month until we're in at least the first day. So if you haven't opted into notifications, this is a good time to do that to make sure that you don't miss. Okay, let's get started here. So first of all, right in our catalyst position, we have the Maiden card. Let's bring it closer so you can see it. This is a divine feminine card, much like you would see with the Empress. And with this card in reverse, it is reminding you to take extra care of yourself, your needs, and not to be afraid to sort of like speak up. And sometimes, for many of you that end up being in a position where you are kind of like the go-to person to lead, to nurture, to care for someone. So whether that's being a teacher, a nurse, or you're just kind of like that maternal paternal energy in any sort of situation, this is saying, all right, this is a time for you to give back to yourself, to invest in yourself. There also may be something that you're holding on to much longer than you need to hold on to it. And this is a reminder to kind of have that figurative birthing. So just at the top here, we also have a rose card. I was talking to a fellow intuitive the other day, and they reminded me of the importance of meeting someone in a place of love, especially when they've given us reasons not to feel that. So even our adversaries or our enemies or anyone in your life that's causing you pain, if you hold space and kind of let them know that it can be safe, that you're not a threat, that it's sort of like a Jedi mind trick. This is not the droid you're looking for. Like, send them in another direction, but let them know that this is a safe space. It starts to shift the perspective and the narrative. This is particularly strong with children who have been told that they're a bad kid or that they're not going to succeed. When they're in the presence of someone that says, I believe in you, you're a good kid, now you can do this, they start to change and think, I can do this. Maybe those other people are wrong. I'm going to show them I'm a good kid. So I want you to maybe try to hold some space for someone in your life, even if it's a challenge. And we don't want to talk someone into their, in or out of something. But if we let them see a different perspective, if someone told me I'm a bad person, first of all, I would take them at their word. I would say, thank you for the warning. And then I would say, it's interesting because I didn't see that quality in you. I actually thought you were, really good at this. Take a look in the mirror, because what you see and what I see aren't the same, but I will take your warning. I always heed someone's warning when they try to tell you who they are. It's It's a powerful statement when someone doesn't believe in themselves. And it's a lesson that took me a while to learn, actually. So for all of you, definitely listen to someone if they are, it's not just lacking confidence, they could be trying to warn you and keep you from experiencing something that you don't want to experience. All right. One last thing with this one is that if somebody is not willing or ready to take direction, then step back from that too, okay? We have the Queen of Wands smack dab in the center. She's one of my favorite cards because she's basically magic and she can manage any sort of situation that comes her way. One of the important things to remember with this, however, is that it's important for you to not second guess intuition, right? And what's coming through, because the cat is magic. It's also sort of that gut instinct that we have, and it's perceptive energy when you're picking up, this is something I should focus on, this is something I shouldn't focus on. So I think for you, the important thing is to mind your affairs, mind your business, and encourage others to do the same, okay? And and I'm saying this in the nicest way, when you're minding and paying attention to your business, then you start to thrive. Things really start to move. She can take limited resources and bring them into abundance in a different way than the Queen of Pentacles can. The Queen of Pentacles just has this nurturing energy. The Queen of Wands lifts up a stone and finds something that she forgot. So there may be an untapped resource for many of you that is just there ripe for the picking. And she's kind of like an investigator, and she's going to find where that's at. So when you stop focusing on trying to fix everything, control everything for others, then you start to find, oh my gosh, look at all of this ability and available energy that I have. I'm really in my power now, okay? So hopefully that resonates and you can figure out how to maximize it. But if you don't know yet where that hidden thing may be, keep lifting things up, keep looking around, be inquisitive, be the investigator. Always kind of dig a little bit deeper, okay? In the deep past, we have the 10 of Cups. So for many of you, maybe not recently, but in the past, family or what others thought or wanted of you, it was taking a very prominent sort of role for you. What we're looking at here crossing the center, however, is the 5 of Wands. So I'm seeing a kind of movement from putting the energy into all of this sort of stuff for others, and it does feel like work is a prominent or central piece right now. So for many of you, the challenge here is to get organized. And as you're getting organized, to sort of like continue to learn this lesson of when to say no and when to sort of cave into family, because I feel like some of that will be repeating itself. I do see a lot of productivity. Sometimes people don't like the 5 of Wands. To me, it just means that there's a lot of work going on. There's always a sort of cautionary note here to try to find a way to not necessarily compete, but collaborate. Because sometimes with the 5 of Wands, we're so focused on, is that person getting more attention than me? Or is this giving me the focus that I need, that we forget that the whole purpose that we're working is to get something done? So focus on what it is you're trying to do and tune out all of this nonsense. There's also that when we go back into the collaboration message, it reminds me of the glacier and getting unstuck. The gravity or the community energy can actually move something forward if you want it to, if you're open to that. And some of you may just have to ask for more help, because it does feel like you could be doing the work of, a couple of other people. When we look at these two cards, to me, if I'm looking at an employment situation or work allocation, I see one person sitting back and not doing a lot of people really, really busy, and a lot of people waiting for it. I feel like some of the people waiting, or we could tap into some of these resources. So when it comes to work, the human resources seem to be a little bit imbalanced to me. When it comes to family, it could be sort of like the way that things are being delegated. It could just be handled a little bit better. So I mentioned this recently in another reading, which is that you do not have to do the lion's share of all the work. There's other people, and when you let something go, suddenly, if it needs to get done, someone's going to make sure that it gets done. So you aren't the only person that has to do everything. You're not Atlas holding up the weight of the world, right? So enough said on that. As we look here now at the table, and what we're kind of looking at now is a partnership here. We have both the Queen and the King of Wands, and I like that they're right next to each other. The thing that could be holding you back, because I do read reversals, because why would you work with only half the alphabet? So the reversals give me deeper meanings here. So as I look at the King and the Queen of Wands, what's happening here is that they're so similar. There's some sort of a similar approach in how they view the world, maybe in how they manage things, maybe just in being closed to trying something new. So if you can have an icebreaker, if you can even meet one another half of the way, you're going to start to see some movement happening there, okay? And for you, just as personal growth, this actually shows that you're getting stronger, and that if you're trying to finish something, I definitely see graduation or growth here. So that's good. But when it comes to partnerships, it could be a little challenging. The cool thing is, like, when you're on the same page, you're totally on the same page. But if you happen to disagree about one little thing, then all of a sudden it gets really sort of difficult. And that's where we can avoid what we see in the crowning position, this Three of Swords. So let's take a close look at this. I feel like whoever is reaching out and possibly acting out is trying to heal. I mean, invariably, more often than not, I think when somebody is not acting themselves, it's because of hidden pain and it's projection, not necessarily them rejecting you or them not understanding or caring about you. So if we look here again in the past, the important thing here is to remember where you came from. We have the Ten of Cups here. Look at how similar you happen to be, and do yourself the favor and just say, is something going on with you? This seems out of character. This seems out of sorts. Can I help you with something else? Like, first of all, we do need to deal with this, but I want to check in with you because I don't recognize this behavior. There are many times that I wish I had said those exact same words. So if you see someone acting up this month, remember what the maiden is the reason that I'm remembering all of this. Go in there with a loving heart and say, seems like you're hurt and you're angry and it doesn't have a lot to do with what I'm doing because I didn't do anything wrong. Or this seems like an overreach or an overreaction. But that being said, what is going on? Can I help you? Is there something else? If not, then we need to evaluate why this is such a big deal. So a lot easier said than done. You can always go back and backtrack if you've already had an argument or already said something. The main thing here is that they're not going to probably step forward. They're waiting for you. The Two of Swords is an impasse, but it's not a full stop. This is sort of like ellipses in literature. It's a pause, but it's waiting, and it's sort of like a pregnant pause. What's going on? And the more sort of pregnant that pause, no pun intended, because the maiden is showing that there's something heavy, there's something waiting. You need to let that weight go. You need to let that energy, you'd be more like holding it up here. It's sort of like a monkey on your back. So when you let the monkey in the back go, then you can actually be able to embrace what's in front of you, okay? Two of Swords also indicates for many of you a decision that is not black and white. It's so easy when we clearly know what we have to do. Just tell me what to do, a lot of partners will say sometimes. That's frustrating if you're the person that's hoping the other one can be intuitive. But I think for you, we're not looking at that so much. It could play out in the relationship, but I think when it comes to day-to-day life, there's just a decision that you need to make. And you have to trust in yourself that you're going to make the best possible decision. And once you take a step in the right direction, momentum follows. I like to remind people on some of the two cards, like the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles in particular, because they both carry with them some challenging attributes, that when you let go of one of those swords, you just have an ace. And the ace gives you opportunity. It sets you into motion. It's a good thing. So if you can just put one down and focus on something, just like the magician. The magician only needs one of each element. So you've got too much clouding the vision here. And I think that once you focus on one thing, you'll be okay. All right. I guess we can actually see the blindfold on this person too. I see the little tiny blindfold there. So the other thing I was talking about, missing the signs or the symbols or the openings along the way, really look beyond what's obvious. Look at the subtle, look within, open up all of your senses and see what's the best choice. So like this morning I had an indecision and I just like, okay, let me look at the cards and I'll take the lowest one out. And that made it easy. And I just trust in spirit and I move on. Otherwise, you sit there and think all day, what am I going to do? So just like we would kind of take the lowest one out, do what I did. The one that you don't feel attached to as much. I wasn't upset. And this is a cool deck, and I'm glad I got to work with it. So yeah, just embrace it as an opportunity. All right, looking at how you're showing up here, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords could indicate something that you need to focus on in this case, which would be realizing that some fights aren't worth fighting, and that also if someone's coming to you and you're really stubborn, they could be perceiving you as the Five of Swords, which is too closed off. So what you can do at least is say, I'll consider it. You owe it to yourself and that person to at least consider it, but even just saying, I'll think about it, lets them know that you're not just giving them a full stop no. So be open to someone's feedback or criticism, but if it's too critical and there's no constructive element, you could push back and say, if you could create something constructive with this, I'd be more likely to listen or accept it. If you just say you don't like it and you tune out, then I don't know what to do with that. If you just say you don't like this, but you don't tell me what you'd like to see, it's not helpful. So keep it inside until you have a way to kind of like shape it in a way that I can understand, and then we will work from there. But there may be someone in your life that just doesn't listen, and the Five of Swords is one of those blinking yellow caution lights that says, not this way, do a detour, do something else. It may take a little longer, but this isn't the person, this isn't the time, this isn't the place. Pay attention to timing, pay attention to what's going on with them, and that's going to be really important to, again, saving you some time in the long run, okay? Interestingly enough, as I was looking at your environment, you got a couple cards, which is exciting, especially since they're both cups. We have the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups. This portends really good things for relationships and also new opportunities. So let's look at each one separately. We'll start with the Ace. Who doesn't like an ace, especially an Ace of Cups? There's someone that's interested in what you have to offer. You may be interested in someone else as well. Definitely a great time for those of you that might be single and looking. And even if you're single and happy, this is still showing me that if you put this energy into work and projects, people are going to be receptive. If one person says no, Five of Swords, and doesn't listen, walk away, because there's at least one, if not two other people that are going to be so much more interested in what you have to offer. And there you are, Pisces. Looking really good here, showing up strong, and being able to really start to see movement in the environment. So I'm going to go deeper into relationships here, but it's worth mentioning just quickly. Because this is in the environment, for those of you in relationships, we see a deepening, even if there has been something difficult. It could be surprising because we have the Eight of Swords here at the top, but I think go with it. If someone shows like they've turned a new corner, a new leaf, far be it from you to push them back into a negative turn. As we said earlier, hold safe space and encourage that positive behavior. That's really what the Maiden card is reminding us to do. Okay, so I see a lot of opening, movement, and healing with respect to the heart space. We even see a Band-Aid on that heart. It doesn't want to stay broken. So there's a chance here to heal for sure. Okay, let's move on to opportunities. Really exciting to see so many love and relationship cards coming through for you. In the relationship portion here, in Hope Spheres and Opportunity, we have the Six of Cups in reverse, but by far one of my favorite cards to pull for people because it shows friendship, camaraderie, brotherly, sisterly sort of energy, or deep soul connections. For those of you that have been holding out for a special kind of someone in your life, whether it's a best friend or a deep soul partner, this partnership comes through without a doubt with this particular card. There are some blocks along the way that could be holding you back. And again, I will go deeper in relationships, but they're showing up pretty strong for you. But one of those blocks is internal healing. One of those blocks can also be sort of healing the energy with your parents. I don't necessarily read gender so much in the cards, but the Maiden card can be a sort of maternal energy. So whether you get more of that from your father or your mother, or you have two mothers or two fathers, or there's an aunt or uncle, I don't care. Healing one of those relationships with a core person in your life that was there as a mentor, that can actually help as you step into some of these new ones. Also, you may not get the support or approval that you need for the love that you're finding, because I see a lot of love here, and I see a lot of eyes being closed and heart being closed here. because we have 3 of Swords, 2 of Swords, 5 of Swords, and 8 of Swords. So closed eyes, closed heart, closed ears and eyes, and someone also that's just not letting you get your point across. So guess what? It's your life. It's your love. It's your decision. And you get to be happy. And even if that makes someone else happy, that's not necessarily your thing to fix. So whatever the thing in your life is that makes you happy, that may be kind of butting up against other people's approval, and if they don't like it, it's, again, that's on them. As long as you love, accept, and celebrate whatever this is in your life, I think you're going to be fine. And give people time. Remember, like the glacial energy, here's the cool thing. If there's other people in your circle of friends or coworker group or family that do approve, they will be the force that makes that glacial energy move. If everyone else sees it except the one, they're going to probably acquiesce over time. So you don't have to be the one that, it's not always incumbent upon us to educate people that are ignorant, closed off, or unaware. We can do it if we want to, but you don't have to do it if you're happy. It'll save you some heartache, perhaps. Let some other people be your advocate if you'd like. That's one of the messages. Let's move on to some other shades of meaning with this. Family relationships, particularly sibling relationships, could play a pivotal role. If you do meet someone that's new in your life, they probably have a deeper connection past this lifetime. To me, 6 of Cups is blood, like brother, sister. It can also be marriage, or it's someone with whom you had a really close, intimate connection. So balancing out of that karmic energy is going to be important. When people say they want to find a soulmate, I often will say, be careful what you wish for, because there's different types of soulmate energy. Be more specific. Say I want to find a really positive karmic connection with someone that I don't have any negative or unfinished business, just sort of like a happy soul coming back into your life. That's a better way to manifest it, because if you just want a soulmate, you could find someone who, stole money from you. You could find someone that, did something even worse, and now in this lifetime you have to kind of like unravel all of that. So aim high when you're 8 of Swords. In the upright position, it would say you're not seeing something. In the reversed position, it's saying liberation, visibility, the ability to also see beyond the mirage or the facade that other people put out there. So for many of you, there is this moment of stepping into freedom. But I often see the 8 of Swords as someone who needs to still lick their wounds a little bit. And I use the metaphor of a caged bird often, but there's other things. It's sort of like, if you haven't been supported and lifted up, when you have the freedom, when you have the opportunity, when it comes to you, oftentimes self-doubt can still seep into the equation. So I want you to look beyond that and see what others see. There's a really nice card in the Lightseer deck where you see a mirror. And only in the mirror do you actually visibly see the swords. The woman herself is basically unanchored and untethered, but she sees and creates the tethers. So I just want you to see a version of yourself without limits, without the limitation that you think is there. And that is going to be, I think, the key actually to your success this month, the key to being unstuck. We'll look at a big idea in a moment, but the first thing that I want to focus on now, not the channel messages, is the expanded forecast. Expanded forecast is health, wealth, love, and destiny. Health, wealth, love, and destiny give us additional lenses that we can basically place on top of the Celtic Cross. So let's begin with your health card. The health card here in the corner is kind of really interesting. I'm going to put my glasses on with this. It is about focusing on what you feel and what you think. Let's take a close look at this together. So we're really focusing on the ear chakra on this, and we have this sort of beautiful, almost looks like a magnolia or a lotus coming out of her ear. And I think for many of you, being able to hear the good and listen to also your guides and what's coming through in inspiration is going to be important. Also changing the record in your head. I talk about this a lot. Well, nowadays everyone's familiar with like an LP. It's kind of like that. If you had one vinyl record that just keeps repeating itself. If you're going to repeat something, repeat a positive mantra. Fill that headspace with something really solid and really good. But I also want you to listen to the intuition that you're receiving from your higher self and your guides. Let this light the way. Let the higher thoughts light the way. This is going to help you with mental health, which is what this card's really about. I always like to remind folks, I'm not a doctor. So if you are going through anything difficult with mental health or physical health, you always want to talk to a professional, get the assistance that you need. But this particular card is about trying to retune or reprogram the mental thoughts into positive or affirmative. And one of the tools that I can give you for that may help you is to take a fear and turn it inside out. So instead of thinking, what if this happens? And maybe, for instance, it could be, let's say, what if this person rejects me, since we have a lot of relationship energy coming through? Well, what if they don't? What if maybe there's a friendship if there's no love interest? What if something beautiful happens? What if it's just easier than you thought? So that's what I like to do, is go to the fear and then take the fear and turn it inside out. What if I fail? Well, what if you succeed? What if I don't have enough money? What if abundance opens up in an unexpected and pleasant way? So turn it around and say, well, I'm ready for that. Today, let's see what I can do to make that happen. So start to turn the things around and transmute them like the magician would. Let's take a look at the cards on the table and see if there's some additional messages around well-being. With that standard disclaimer that I said earlier, I'm not a doctor, but I'm looking at how you can be your happiest here and healthiest. All right, so first things first, I'm drawn to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is paying attention to things that could be going wrong in the body and not waiting too long to ask for help. So, I actually just recently made sure that I did a general physician checkup and everything was fine. I had a couple of vitamin things that I had to shift around a little bit, but I was so happy that I did it. I just wanted to pay attention because I knew a lot of people in my family that had waited too long and then certain things popped up. So it doesn't matter what age you are, it's good to check things out. And if you're feeling something's off, I also got like a chiropractic adjustment the other day because I just felt the need. Listen to your body and intuitively guide yourself where you need to go. Don't close your eyes and think, well, if I just don't look at it, it'll go away. Get the information. This is really, education will help get through the Two of Swords too sometimes. Three of Swords, really focusing on heart health and heart happiness. So it's as much the heart chakra as it is the actual heart itself. Making sure that you're managing stress, that you're eating well, that you're exercising. If there's family history of any heart disease, that you take care of that. But most importantly, the Three of Swords can just be unhappiness. So if you are unhappy, as we learned here with the Maiden card, it's important for you to ask for the help that you need to get some support. You don't have to always be the one that's supporting everyone else. Avoiding excess because of the Ten of Cups in reverse, a lot of cups actually coming through. So trying, especially when it comes to drinking or eating too much or any substance, not going into the overboard area there. Eight of Swords, get an optometrist appointment if you haven't checked out your eyes in a while as well. So heart, eyes, and body coming through to just pay attention to. And then again, just letting certain things go with some people because it's not worth the energy. Overall, pretty good when we're looking at health. I just love this Radiant card here because it's showing me that you're going to be able to really create something beautiful once you move past any of the fear or frustration. Do something artistic if you can, and do something expressive because I think that's going to bring you into that higher energy as well. All right, that was health. Looking at wealth, we have peace. I think it goes hand in hand with the health card, however. I am a being of love. I release all negative energy. Amen to that, right? Amen, exclamation point. So this peace card, as we look at all of the cards in front of us, is going to be so important with if there's someone unhappy in your life, if there's someone that doesn't know what to do, if there's someone that just feels lost, or if there's someone that you're arguing with, you're going to try to not create more friction in that situation. This is an instance where you definitely want to make it a little bit easier. And that's why I think sometimes it's better to walk away and come back later. When you come back with an offering of love or support. Try to find that sort of friendly energy. There could be someone in your circle of friends because we're looking at wealth, which can be, it's how you're investing your time and energy. It's not just work. But there could be someone that you're working with that sometimes, again, we see the love energy right here, right here. We got couple energy for sure, or partner energy for sure. When it's good, but when it's bad, it's not, it's pretty bad. So there needs to be some balance in this other person or possibly with you. Whoever needs to find that balance, let them get the balance because I feel like you can't fix them. You can only hold the space or give them the map. They have to basically get the compass, get in the car and go. So, you need to do whatever is necessary for peace of mind. And for some of you, it's just moving on or walking away. Holding space, letting them, again, they can always call when they're ready, but When I get King and Queen of Wands in reverse, someone needs to want the help before they can receive it. Let's look specifically at messages around money or career when I'm looking at this. First of all, and this is why I keep a little card here on the side, we don't have pentacles, do we? No, we do not. So I want to look at resources, and particularly, are they hidden? Because that's what I was picking up on earlier. So where are the resources? That's one thing that I see. All right, let's just look at them together here. Your management skills are great. It's more likely than not that you're going to have to cooperate or co-manage or do this together. And I said that there are power in numbers. I feel like you might have not enough numbers in front of you, so you're going to need to kind of tap into something bigger. So I see limited resources, not just with money, but often with help or human resources if you're working. The other thing for some of you is it feels like you're at an impasse emotionally. You're blocked. You may like who you work with, but you may not like what you're doing, or you may not like the company. Something's off. There's something keeping and anchoring you in a place that you probably should move on from. So either find a way to change the environment, or it's probably time to find something that's more in your heart space. And even if everything's okay, this is just maybe about personal well-being, because this is sadness, this is an indecision, this is feeling sometimes like you're the outsider and you can't win, this is not knowing what to do. So talk to someone. It feels like you have an ally and someone that can offer some advice, but do that, and I think that's going to help you out quite a bit. Again, power in numbers. Your reputation or your contacts are going to be key to you being able to move up or move on. And you do have a good core group here with the 10 of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the 6 of Cups. So even though we got some tricky swords coming through, you got a lot that people appreciate, and you have a great head on your shoulders. So don't lose track of that, okay? Seek the road of peace. Peace is also reminding us that when we are in the right place, it should just feel right. It shouldn't be like you have to have this big conversation every day for all this stuff. You have to fight tooth and nail to get everything that you want. That's typically a sign that maybe I should find a place where there's less resistance. Maybe this is too glacial for me. Even if they're moving, they're not progressive or moving enough. So that's the sign that I'm seeing here, is that if there's not enough pros to the list of cons, then it's time to start to sort of like explore new things. And I feel like many of you already have an inkling of what to do. All right, so let's take a look at what's coming next. So we looked at health, wealth. Let's go to love and relationships. We have the rabbit here, which is great. So it says, now is a lucky time. We see fertility and abundance coming through a couple of times here for you. So for those of you that are trying to start a new family, I really like that we got the maiden and the rabbit. It tells me that you have a better shot right now if you're trying to start a family, or if you're trying to adopt, or if you're maybe trying to find a pet. This works all the same way. I see something or someone new coming into your life in that respect if you're trying to expand the family. Because we got a twin card here, the 6 of Cups, I actually read this usually as 2, and the rabbit usually has many. So we could be looking at multiple births somewhere in a family for some of you. Now let's take it out of relationships for a moment and actually just look at abundance. This also means to me, you could be getting more than what you anticipated. So if you're in a desert right now of resources, things are going to change here in a few months, where all of a sudden, like rabbits reproducing, you're going to just see a lot of quick action happening, more than you anticipated. And it comes again from support, friends, and maybe fans even. So I see definitely movement for you, but in an unexpected way, and it's a lot at once. So there's nothing, and then there's a lot. So it's going to be about how to kind of like plan this out. And also, I would say, and then we'll get back into relationships, making sure that you look at the whole year and think, how am I going to pace myself? Pacing is going to be really important. Let's specifically look at those of you in love, those of you looking for love, those of you single and happy. All right. For those of you in a current relationship, you showed up loud and clear. We have the commonalities that I talked about with the King and Queen of Wands, some stubbornness that can lead to an impasse when you have something that you want to argue about. It's like, why can't that other person see what I see? one of you or both of you are going to have to try to meet in the middle. And that's really what we see here with the Five of Wands, kind of like cutting it halfway and saying, all right, I can see what you're saying. I understand it from your perspective, etc. I do see a lot to love about whoever you're with, but it's work, and relationships take work. Do you want to keep doing the work? What do you want? What does the other person want? That's the important thing. So I think when you're talking about hopes and fears, hopefully you'll align here on the Six of Cups, but some of you are just afraid to talk about what's important. Family could be an important piece because we have the mother card basically here, and then a child card here, and another child card here. So children could play an important part of this discussion, but it could also just be something that one of you want to do, your inner child coming out. Overall, you are going to have to definitely lead by example here, because the outcome card here is the Eight of Swords. And with these closed cards, the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords, you have to show them what they need to do, and you have to show them by example what the right behavior is, because maybe they weren't trained by their parents, or just didn't learn and pick up social cues. So you're going to help them with that. But at the end of the day, my question and my homework for you, should you decide to kind of embark upon it, is what are you looking for? What do you want from them? What do you want from yourself? Because if you don't know, they can't figure it out for you. And if they don't know, you can't figure it out for yourself. So I think that that's the sort of like therapist moment. You might want to talk with someone and see. For the rest of you, I just think that there's a lot going on with personal energy. Heal yourself first. I think you're going to be able to get back into the sort of flow of the energy of the relationship, but healing is important and communication is important with all these swords cards. For those of you that are single and looking, I actually see an abundance of energy here. And so lots of opportunity here. And you may actually just really get along with someone excellently on the first meeting with the Six of Cups. I've had the fortune, an opportunity to have a few best friends in my life that just pop in. And usually on that first meeting, you just think, where were you? I'm so happy that you're in my life. It feels like a brother or sister kind of entered. So you might be getting that kind of energy too. It might not just be love. It could be like a best friend, because like that's what this is to me, like buddy, friendship, and then also deep love. So it's a great time for love. I just see a stubborn soul coming in. So there could be some elements of yourself that you need to work on a little bit and open up. And I think that will help. Healing the heart is key. You might either be on the rebound or find someone else on the rebound. They may not be as open in communication as you would like. You might have like off the charts chemistry, but communication is lacking a bit. So definitely take time to get to know them. And if you are single, happy, and disinterested in love, or just curious like what's coming through, well, I see, first of all, you should focus on self, a lot on self. Nurture yourself and heal yourself. I think that could be primarily where you could do a lot of work. Even though you're not interested in relationships, I do see growth in friendships, and I do see you being productive. So it's a great time to get work done. It's a great time to deepen your friendships. And by all means, this month, if not like the number one thing I think you should focus on is healing yourself. All right, so pretty good overall. And I definitely see the availability of love should you decide that you're ready, but it'll probably happen faster than you expected. And then you're thinking to myself, I also like that we're looking at now as a lucky time. So this is the most important piece, and I'm glad I'm remembering it here before I move on to destiny. For those of you who say, I'm unlucky in love, stop saying that. I want you to say, my luck is changing just in the nick of time. I'm ready for something better, something higher. I'm not afraid to kind of like wait for that, but I actually believe it's happening sooner than later. So your luck is changing. Believe that your luck is changing. Because if you hold on to the idea that you're unlucky, then you're manifesting that and you're attracting that. All right, moving now to the final card here, we're going to destiny. Destiny is a malleable card, and we have the serpent in reverse. To me, serpents are power symbols. So what this is for me is, when I'm looking at this, is an opportunity for you to show your true colors, also to possibly shed your skin. So there is an overdue sort of rebirth happening for you. My question to you is, why are you holding on perhaps to that old skin or that old way of thinking? And the King of Wands in reverse can definitely be a closed card. So I would say, look into something new, try something new, and don't imagine that it's not going to work. Imagine that this could be really exciting. It could create growth. I look at the snake as power and growth. There could be someone in your path that isn't completely being honest, and you're going to see that. There's going to be a revelation. That too is a blessing. Even though it may not be what you were looking for, it's so much better to know what you're dealing with. I also see a serpent or snake as a symbol of flexibility. Unlike most of us, they can kind of slither in and out of stuff, get into small spaces, go underneath a door, do all kinds of crazy stuff. So you have the ability to navigate, to move, and to shift, to change a little bit. And this could be really exciting for you. All right. Let's now go into the big idea. Big idea is an overarching card that can help you really maximize things, just like the catalyst. The catalyst helps you find your power. And this month it's the maiden. But we're going to help you also find your focus. So you know how you can, basically with the maiden, anything you touch has the ability to grow. But what can you do to stay focused? What can you do to really make this an amazing month? King of Cups. Okay, this is great. This is you. You really showed up strong this month, Pisces, but we have the King of Cups in reverse. So one thing that's going to be important with this big idea card is to focus on believing that you deserve what you get in a positive way. Like, so let's imagine that you just got a raise, or that someone sends you an email and asks you out, or whatever. Something, happy surprise. Whatever this happy surprise is, you called it into existence. The disbelief in your deservedness of this actually then sends mixed signals. Also, speaking of mixed signals, don't send mixed signals. If you want something, go for it. If you don't, don't. This is an opportunity. This is also a relationship. You're not going to feel it more later. And I've been kind of stressing this message over the past couple of signs. It will either be there or it won't when it's a spark. So trust the spark. And trust that you earned this moment, and believe that you are deserving of all that comes your way. Okay? Very, very beautiful energy there. And also, by the way, love and relationships, primary energy and focus coming through as well. If you're single, happy, and just wondering, like, how can I use this? It can also be creative energy, intuitive energy, empathy, kind of off the charts. So we're going to move on now to the blessings and blocks. Just a quick reminder, while I'm doing the blessings and blocks, please again, like, subscribe, and comment if you can. It helps. For the blessings and the blocks, the way that this works is we're going to look at one thing to really embrace and take advantage of, and then we're going to look at one thing to also kind of maybe avoid or transmute a little bit. So let me go ahead and put these two cards out, and then we'll talk about them. So your blessing, 10 of Pentacles. All right, I may not have to look at resources now. And your block is the Magician. Okay, the Magician, like I said, has been coming through almost every single reading in some way, shape, or form. Let's start with the blessing. So the blessing here could be a blessing in disguise. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. 10 of Pentacles can be peer pressure, expectations from family and community. It can be your reputation that you've built up, and then all of a sudden people are kind of expecting you to continue to exert and to exude that sort of high energy. So with this, it's really reminding yourself that the only one that you have to make happy at the end of the day is yourself. At the end of this lifetime, we take a look at our own lives and we measure them and decide, like, did I get what I was supposed to out of this experience? And we're looking at the beautiful columns in the background, and that column also plays a role in the 3 of Pentacles, right? So keep building things that you love, keep working on things that you love, keep learning and expanding. And if people aren't proud and supportive of that, they're never going to be happy. Nothing will ever be enough. But you do have hidden resources and support. It is in the form of the people that you know. So don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? Definitely it's here if you need it. And for some of you, you may be called to go back to school. I'm looking at this for some reason, even though I would normally get that with the 3 of Pentacles. Maybe you're going to break a family tradition and do something different. So you're going to study something different. You're going to not go to school. You're going to somehow break the mold. And it has to do with your calling in life. Also, when it comes to marriage, your choice in who you marry or don't marry could be a part of this as well. There's something rebellious about it. And that's okay, because you're going to find a chosen family and you're still going to find more than enough. Let's move on to what could block you. Distraction. That's the only thing that I can see, and also trying to do too much at the same time. The magician is missing his signature table here. So without the table, it's hard to ground things. The elements are kind of in flux. They're in the air. They're floating around. So we need to put things in their proper place. I would say organization, focus, and then also follow through. But you have everything that it takes. You even have the hidden resources that are going to come in. I'll still look at it when I do my reader's choice, but I'm feeling better about this. I think that with that 10 of Pentacles in reverse, your family just may have blocked you, even though it's in the blessing space, and saying like, this is what we expect of you. The truth is you can do whatever you set your mind to. So just decide what you want, set your mind to that, and then move accordingly. Beautiful messages, actually. So we're going to set up next the viewer's choice. Viewer's choice is 2 parts. I'm going to give you something to vote on, and then I'll do a reader's choice while you're doing that. So let me go ahead and get my keyboard here, and we're going to take a look at some things that I think are worthy of exploration. I kind of already know what I'm going to do for the reader's choice. It's going to be just digging a little deeper on resources. But looking at some of the other cards in front of me here, let's see. So actually, I can't ignore all the swords cards with the 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, 2 of Swords, and 8 of Swords. So I think one of the challenges for many of you is going to be how to navigate communication for sure. So I'm going to put here communication, what battles to fight. And let's just kind of title this Viewer's Choice. Okay, and in addition to that, I also see a lot of work that can be done on healing the heart with that 3 of Swords at the top, where we're seeing that person with the, the sad heart. So let's look at heart chakra, healing. I'll just put healing the heart center. And then let's do one more for good measure. I do want to see what energy would be coming through with relationship balance. Okay, so now you have a chance to take a look at these, and let's see. Sorry, one character too many. I had to take the question mark off. All right, you can vote on those. While you're voting on those, I'm going to take a look at hidden resources, because that was something that for me just seemed really, really interesting, and I want to understand what's coming through for that. So let's go ahead now and take a look at messages around resources. We'll be doing the reader's choice. All right, so for reader's choice here, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. You have to ask, basically. If you're looking for something, don't expect others to just intuit and deliver. Some people are, it's kind of like the 2 of Swords here that we saw on the table. They're just waiting for something to happen. You have to tell them what you want. And when we have the Page of Swords in reverse, it's saying, this isn't working. I'm not being listened to. I enjoy doing this, this, and this, but this is what I need. So definitely speaking up. I need more help. I need more money. I'm ready for this opportunity. In partnerships, it would be saying, I need you to do this. Whatever it is that you want or need, the Page is the easiest one to deal with. It doesn't have to be sort of like a difficult stance that you take. It's simply saying, I'm invested in this success of this relationship or project. In order for that success to be possible, I need this, this, and this. Are you on board? It all depends on how you set it up, right? Because that's less of a demand. That's saying, are you committed to the success in the same way that I am? Ask that first and they say, good, I'm glad to hear it. Then let's fix this. How are we going to fix this? This is my suggestion. What are you going to do? How are you going to show that investment and commitment? That's a great way to hook someone in, particularly in a work situation, because now if they don't help, they're not invested. They're not committed. They're going back on their word. So use your words. Use your words in a positive way, and I think you're going to be surprised at the fact that you'll probably get what you're asking for when it comes to resources. Let's take a look at the poll and see what's winning here. All right, it looks like healing the heart. It's pretty close. We're probably going to end up doing a tie. I'll start with healing the heart, but they're close enough that I'll probably read both of them. So we're going to move along now to the viewer's choice, and I'm waiting for the poll to come in. Yeah, I'll do a tie here for healing the heart center, which won, and then I'll do communication, what battles to fight. So let's start with healing the heart center first. Healing the heart center. Okay, we have the Hanged Man for this. So for many of you, I feel like you've waited long enough. This can actually come through, let's say, if you've lost a partner and you've been single for a while and you've just been thinking, I don't know, I'm out of practice, or I don't know, maybe it's not been enough time. The Hanged Man in reverse tells me that I do think a lot of healing has been completed, but there is that sort of disbelief within you for that sort of thing. And anything in your life, it's not just love. We're looking at the heart. I would say don't hold yourself back. This is pausing, waiting, and trusting. There's a little bit of patience with this one, but there's also the understanding, if we look at that person, that they've actually gained the insight and the strength that they need. So I would say for you, what's the worst that could happen if you kind of put yourself out there? Because I actually see this person in the yoga pose, which is so interesting, and they have found their footing. So you are actually not stuck. You are stronger and readier. You've waited. I really do feel like you've waited long enough, and it's time to just take one step at a time and give it a go. Give it a go. And open yourself up a little bit. Don't hold yourself back. That's what I'm getting with that particular card. So we'll go with it. All right, let's take a look now at the other thing that was chosen here. So in second place was what battles to fight, communication overall. And I'm glad we're actually looking at it because we got so many swords cards that we really need to. And they weren't the ideal swords cards. They were tricky cards. So let's see what you can do to really maximize your communication skills. All right, so we have Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is really close to what we see with the Maiden card because, let's just pull these cards up right. So the Maiden is the Empress. The Empress is a divine feminine symbol that can show the ability to bring something forth. Queen of Pentacles, same energy. Oftentimes I'll see this coming through for mothers. I'll see this coming through for people that have held on to something too long. And so for many of you, I feel like the most important thing when we're looking at communication is to, one, hold a space that's nurturing and safe for both parties or all parties considered. The other is to get it out, say it, and do, especially if it is something that you need to have for personal growth or healing or something that you've worked on long enough. Again, if that person isn't happy with what you have at this point, when will they be happy? Because to me, this is beyond solid. You don't even, like if I'm looking at a project and I get King and Queen of Pentacles, you're really winning either way. The Queen of Pentacles shows me that the development, the work is there. And in some cases that is stronger than the King card because it's more available. So I just feel like staying open, getting it out in the open as well, and then doing something that's going to be mutually beneficial is going to be key. But there is mothering and nurturing energy here, but don't go overboard. Just like the Queen and King of Wands were reversed, you're going to be a leader and strong in what you're saying, but strong leaders don't try to overly convince people. They'll state what their thing is that they need to say, and then they get out of it. So you would say, this is how I feel. This is, kind of like what we talked about earlier. I think we're both keen on something working. This is how I want to make it work and how I think it can work. Do you feel the same? Do you have some insight? Are you equally invested? What would you like to do? Opening up the conversation and putting the onus on them to come forward a little bit because you don't have to do it all. You're leading, right? So take the lead. That's the main message there. All right, that was great. You guys made some really great choices and I'm happy for the tie. All right, a couple of quick notes here. We're going to check in with our progress and seeing what we've been doing here. We've worked through the channeled messages, the Celtic Cross and expanded forecast. We looked at the big idea and we just finished up blessings, blocks, and viewer's choice. So guess what? We're getting ready for the final portion of this reading. Stick around because I saw my moderator answering some questions. If you have anything that's going on in your mind that I didn't have a chance to answer so far, that final card at the end will be a chance for you to get a yes, no, or some sort of a nuanced thing. And even if you don't have a question, you can just say, universe, what do I need to know? And you'll get sort of like a bonus question at the end. Before we go into that, because we're going to be into like a meditation space for a minute or two and you may forget, give me a follow on social media. Like I said, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Patreon as well if you want to support me, and of course here on YouTube. And On Twitter, it's slightly different username. All of it's right there. Remember, on all of these social media platforms, that I'm not going to ever directly message you. And there is some imposters out there. So here you go. And you can use that link in my in the comments that I've pinned to know that it's me. Also, like, subscribe, and comment. Share as well. Let other people know that you found it. And if you want to give back a little bit, you can do that. And all the information that I talked about is on my website. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Let's get ready for the meditation and the sound bath. While I'm prepping the meditation up here, I'll give you a chance to choose between a couple of instruments, and then we're going to focus on what is next. So for those of you that can vote, you can vote on what I'm going to play here. So I have a crystal pyramid, and I also have a singing bowl. You can choose either. All right. So while you're voting, let's kind of decide here what we're going to do for the meditation. So one of my favorite cards today is the one without any words on it. I really love the sort of beautiful flower energy coming around. I mean, it's on the crown chakra, but it's really around the ears. So I want you to start, we're going to try to kind of reprogram you with positive thoughts and intentions. And then I also love the abundance that we got here with the rabbit as well. So imagining that you could just see beautiful green growth and energy around you. So we're going to work on the heart, tuning this up, and then I'm just going to like put green emerald energy all around you, because that is love, that is abundance, that is the heart. All right? So close your eyes. Imagine that you are we've been using a lot of fields, but I just feel called to do that again. So I want you to imagine that you're in a field of clover, and you're in a field of clover and grass, and you can just feel the energy of this beautiful, bright green, sort of all the plants around you. It's almost like your heart is starting to sing a little bit. And you are actually picking up on the frequency in your ear chakra a little bit. So imagine that you can start to hear, it can either be music or it can be a higher vibrational sound. And as you put your ear toward the ground, you can hear more of that. Allow the ground to whisper to you whatever you need to do. We're going to listen to Mother Earth today, something I don't think we've done enough of on this planet in a long time. So place your ear on the soft grass and clover and listen to the earth. Listen to the sounds of the worms beneath the earth. Listen to the sounds of the plates moving. Listen to the energy at the center of the earth, which is moving and hot and kind of like constantly shifting around. Again, there's this feeling of being stuck and being at rest and being at peace. But when you listen to what's going on, there's so much movement in the heart of this planet. Mother Earth is going to bring some of that energy into the ear that's placed towards the planet. So listen to what she has to say. Let the energy be this beautiful combination of brown and green. So the brown is going to ground you, it's going to neutralize things, and then see upon that beautiful green energy. Allow the green energy to go into your body, to center itself in your heart, to allow the heart to bring that to all parts of you. And then watch as you touch the earth around you, maybe any sort of pieces of the earth that don't have flowers on it yet. And imagine like the green man or green woman that you could touch it and you start to see growth. And if you'd like to now, you can take the song of the planet and touch things around you and see blossoming, see growth. This is the true Midas touch. It's green, not gold. You're seeing this fertile, abundant energy, and now you embody it. Imagine as we meditate what you need to see grow in your life, and touch that as well with this newfound energy, with this newfound song. I'm going to get the singing bowl and play that here for a few moments, so just relax and enjoy and create your own sort of music. Remembering to breathe, remembering to keep your mind and your heart open as you're doing this. Take a deep breath. And as you get ready for what's in front of you, whatever plan or journey or adventure awaits, I want you to think now, my luck has changed. I am different. I am stronger. I am ready. And carry with you this newfound mantle of power, strength, and abundance. And see how things shift based on your change in perception. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Let's get ready now for your final card. As I said earlier, a final card is a chance for you to ask one last question. And a lot of you sometimes try to put them in the middle. And thank you for Maria for always reminding people that we have this final card at the end. So meditate on your final question. And you can also have it be an open one to just whatever the universe needs to bring. So I feel like we're getting a nice common message here. So we have the Empress energy, which, hello, is also the Maiden, which, as we just discussed, is also the Queen of Pentacles. Tons and tons of divine feminine energy coming through for you. So as a yes, no, it's a yes. You got a lot of Queen cards this reading, which is fantastic. It's a yes, ... But in order for you to harness the energy of the Empress, you have to believe that you are capable of leading. You have to believe what you say. You have to lead by example. You have to take an active role. With power comes responsibility, comes accountability, comes visibility. But it also opens you up to being able to really mold and affect and change things in a fabulous way. If you're looking at doing something on your own, this is a yes. If you are thinking of putting your hat in the ring for some sort of a new opportunity, it's a yes. It's about raising that bar of excellence higher and the expectation a little bit higher and reaching for sure to see what's possible, to see what's available to you. There's not really anything negative with the Empress card upright. And she's almost it's kind of like we did a call and answer. She answered that prayer of abundance. She came through with the divine feminine of Mother Earth. So feels like a great month ahead of you. And whatever your question is, I feel like you've got to take the lead. You've got to take the onus and the ownership. But if you do that, really fantastic stuff is available to you. All right. So there you go. Thank you so much for being a part of today's reading. Again, a reminder that I'm going to be back on the weekend for a collective, and I'm going to do an impromptu on Monday, and then the regular scheduled sort of program will kick off probably on Thursday of next week. I will announce those dates over the weekend, possibly even by tomorrow, but we'll see. So yeah, and I should put those videos maybe even up the next two after that. The weekend collective one is already there, so take a look on my website if you want to make sure that you can see everything, and plus all of the old links are there if you missed anything. Of course, again, you can follow if you'd like to and subscribe. And now I'd like to take a moment here to say thanks to everybody that did give back a little bit today. So to say thanks, I'd like to, oops, we don't want to do that here. Final card, thank you. This is the one I wanted. For some reason, it's showing everything there. I'm just going to say thank you this way. I want to say thank you for anybody that's brand new. If you're brand new, I hope you stick around and show up on the weekend and come back for next month. So welcome if you're brand new. It's good to have you here. I'd also like to say thanks to longtime subscribers and watchers. Many of you have been with me since 2013, 2014, 2015. I've been doing this a while, so thank you if you've been there all the way through that journey. And for anybody that's brand new, I'd like to take a moment to extend some gratitude. So give me a moment here to take a look at anybody who just recently showed a little bit of love and became a member or gave back in a super sticker or super chat. So beginning with the new members. Let me just put my glasses on and I'm going to welcome you. All right, so this is anybody that's joined either today or within the past day or so. Dina, I'd like to welcome you. I think it's Dina Pecorea. Thank you so much. Once in a Blue Moon, great, great title for that. And both of you just rejoined, so thank you for rejoining. We have Gail, and I think it's DeRosier. Thank you so much for 11 months and for rejoining. Megan Pompou, thank you for rejoining after 3 months. Let's see, J.G. Butler, thank you for rejoining after 9 months. Sunny, brand new member, welcome. And let's see here. I think that's everybody. So thank you to all of, and May, you may have joined just in the in-between. So May, Hugh, thank you so much. And Kim Coffrey, both of you are kind of in the middle. So I just wanted to welcome you as well. All right, let me go ahead now and say thanks to anybody that gave back with a super sticker or a super chat for today. We can get through this pretty quickly. Starting with, let's see, is it Little Piano, that's what it is. Little Piano JS, thank you so much for kicking things off with the $10. I appreciate it. Beth Ann Shannon, Carolina, Christine, and Yvette, thank you very much. Also AB, I appreciate all of your contributions and support. And again, I appreciate everybody that just joined today as well. It's good to have you all here. Christina, thank you at the very last moment for kicking in as well. I hope to see you all on the weekend. So I will see you again Sunday. A reminder that we'll be doing it half an hour early just because I have a family event that day. So 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And if you happen to show up late or forget that, don't worry, it'll be available on replay afterwards. And otherwise, have a fantastic day, everyone. Lots of love and light. And thanks again to Maria Margarita for her help with moderation. All right, have a great day, and I will see you on the weekend. All right, bye-bye.